Hello everybody, the Lord Root here, and we are playing more City Skylines where we are going to be working on expanding our, our core just a little bit. So we'll get right into that. We're going to also put a little bit of an expansion down here. And in order to make that happen, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin planning things out. We have a lot of things we can do presently, and which I will do, I guess, largely in order to, make sure that we are set here. But one of the main ones we can just really get rid of this is we've got some money here. I want to go ahead and do my best to sort of get this lined up. Now I've made a little roundabout. Not roundabout, but where is it? Here. I think it's blacked out because we can't really afford it. Doesn't mean I can't start working on the revenue generation though. But oftentimes, if you end up in a situation like this, the best thing to do is just sort of let the game run so that you begin developing stuff you need. There's also a feature of the roads which I want to take advantage of now, and that is this feature. We can selectively block off bits here, and the reason we want to do that is we don't want any development at all in this region. If we have buildings here, people will start parking on the arterial. That's going to create a bunch of issues. We just generally want to avoid that. However, one thing that's important to mention is that you will have to sort of turn everything back on as a result. Well, let's get power bridged over here. And we're going to slowly begin moving our way towards this, because what we want to do is we want to begin slowly filling in pretty much everything. And one of my big plans here is we're going to put a park area right about here. The primary purpose of it being that we are mostly, let's see, is that right? That is right. We're mostly going to want to be able to take these guys. I'm just going to slowly fill this in to avoid death waves. So if you don't know, by the way, a death wave is whenever you have a bunch of people die all at the same time. It usually happens because of the fact, there's one other thing I keep on forgetting about too. We have lots of power. Let me explain the death wave real quick, but I'm going to also crank this down to 100%. But basically, if you have a whole bunch of people move in all at the same time, then a bunch of them will also die off at the same time, which you kind of want to avoid if you can. So we're going to make that happen. And probably what I'll do, I'll sort of get this area planned out as well. Oops. Well, that was definitely not what I wanted to have happen. I picked the wrong road. But we're going to have a little industrial area that we're going to want to get set up as well. And we may get to the point while we're developing where it will make sense for us to be able to, I guess, put in that thing. But yeah, I will run time forward. Well, no, I'll take out a loan. I want to get that taken care of. Except, no, we can't quite do that just yet. So while there is some demand, and I'm going to leave a little bit of room open, I'm just going to have them move up here. Bring in as much revenue as we can. But yeah, we're going to put that Parklife down here that I just sort of designed. I may or may not put that on the workshop. Because on the one hand, it is actually, it's not the most straightforward thing, but it's not like insanely difficult to design either. But we should be able to afford that pretty soon, or at least be able to select it. I think it's like 13.5 grand. Yeah, I might put both of these on here. Okay. So we've got some guides here. We have the money. Why don't we just get this going? We'll upgrade that pretty soon. It's not hugely critical. At least for now, it's not hugely critical. That, where are we? Well, we'll just continue to use the dirt path. We can upgrade it later. It's not hugely critical that that is set up perfectly. I think we do like that. We should get pretty close. Let's see if we can do that. We need a couple more. And then I think we'll line up. Yep, there we go. We're lined up. So you might ask, what is even the purpose of this? Well, I suspect, and whether my suspicions are right or wrong are sort of beside the point, but I suspect we're going to be having, you know, people come down here pretty regularly. We'll just put in dirt roads for now so that people can get here. And I want to finish off this Parklife as well. But I think that'll be fine. They're going to be coming in and out of the wrong direction, you know, stuff like that. That did not generate a... No, it did generate a traffic light. One thing we want to make sure is when we do get highways, which will be really soon, we want to make sure that those highways are not... Are we... Yeah, we just hit brownout time. We want to make sure that we don't overextend. We don't want to overextend our budget any. Now I got a number of goals for over here as well. One of them being that I want to extend the power out. I think that this will be rather important for us. And this will maybe become part of a commercial district here. And there will be other things as well. Anyway, as you can see, demand is going down quite rapidly. That nearly connects us. And there we go, we got our boom town. It's actually rather irritating that it doesn't, but we can take out these power lines now, since we are all bridged. And let's take a look at some of the buildings that we've unlocked. Oh, you know what I could do here as well that would make things... We get 18 megawatts that way. I may do that in a little while. Although with that having been said, we're already running into power issues, so it may actually be worth doing. Yeah, okay, we get 18 megawatts. It'll connect us in. That is actually worth quite a lot. Anyway, what do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is sort of begin working on this park. I'm going to go ahead and kick up the power budget quite a bit. We've got a lot that we can do, actually. We can run a tram line, for instance, which I think is going to be very important. And just to, you know, to keep things from getting too out of hand. I'm going to begin working on that here in a bit. Because we do want transportation from this area. This is going to be a pretty big area. And then parks as well, that's going to be pretty easy for us to do. All we really need is to highlight this area. And it may not look big enough. And it may even seem kind of counterproductive to do this. There's a reason why. And that reason largely has to do with the fact that we can get money from parks. So we've unlocked all that. I think that's aligned. And it's not in the park area for some reason. So, you know, that's going to be a thing. And why don't we just get that going now? Pretty simple to set up. But we're going to want to be pretty careful here. So we've got a plaza we can put down. And basically we got a entertainment goal that we get here. That plaza we just put down is 50. And one other thing too, before we forget about it. Parks don't gain money if you don't fence them in. And this can be rather tricky because if you have gaps in your fencing, the people will find a way through. It can be rather annoying. But we just want to get that entertainment go up to 220. We've already got 50. Which means that if we take a look at the entertainment, a lot of these things, the gates for some reason provide that. So we've got 100, and then we've got 75 here. So we already have 175 taken care of. And all that means is that we need to start putting down like pork info booth. Probably wouldn't be a bad thing to put in. But that is 20. We got bathrooms, which for some reason that honestly is completely beyond me. But for whatever reason, bathrooms provide entertainment. And we can get this in pretty close. Let's see if we've hit our par. Yeah. 117. Okay, yeah, we've hit our par. We've actually exceeded it. So we'll just sort of let this thing cook in the background. We've got plenty of other things that we want to do. And in particular, we happen to have, like I want to put a high school in. If I can do that. So we can start raising the land value, because that's also the major contributor here. Let's see, how are we on our power? We've got lots of available power here. And we need 24,000. Why don't we put in some more residential? Just to sort of boost our tax revenue. That's another reason we don't want to expand too quickly. We got a number of things that we want to put in, so high school, we'll prioritize the high school. Eventually we can put in like a subway down here. I mean, not now, we don't have it, but eventually we might want to. I'm gonna sort of let this develop a bit. We're good on water. Power could get a little bit dicey. However, we have a ton of demand for industrial now. But actually, yeah, we can do that. We should take advantage of that. eventually we're going to want to upgrade these to highways as well. And you can see people are dying, which means, honestly, we have to put in our cemeteries as well. Which is a bit of a shame. I will, just because we're making money, I will probably take out another loan to be able to get this set up. Those short-term loans, probably just fine. I think we actually do have enough room. If we wanted to sneak in, like, a subway or something. Let me grab our elementary school here too. Not quite enough, unfortunately, but that's actually fine. Let's see, fire department. We will want some more fire coverage here. And we have to be very careful because we're going to go into the yellow at some point. And really we want to get to the point to where we're unlocking all. I'm just going to get the best bang for our buck here so that we can get to the point to where, you know, I think we ought to be able, based off of this, we probably do need to crank it up just a scotch. Oh, yeah, we never, we never put this in here, did we? Well, that's in now. See, how are we doing on our power? I think I will sort of undo what I just did and crank that up just a little bit. So yeah, the deaths are somewhat taken care of. We should be having plenty of people visiting now. The park will eventually pay for itself. And that is sort of the important part. Now the question is, do we begin upgrading? And I think in part it could be worth it, at least on this main line. This is the approach that I'm going to take here. Normally, you would utilize something called lane mathematics, which we're going to do here with highways. And the idea is that there's no point having, I guess, 3 lanes here, because you can only go 2 ways. Here, on the other hand, you can actually go 3 ways. In fact, you can go 4 because we've got 4 lanes here, but I'm just going to change that. And does that work? Yeah, that is what we want. So then what we can do is we can come back here. We can just do a couple minor upgrades here. Now you might think, okay, well, you know, we can at least go 2 ways here. This is where it gets kind of tricky. We do have to be careful about this, by the way, because we will disconnect a few things. Because we got the entrance coming in. And with the entrance coming in, I mean, the most lanes that we'll have at any one given point is not actually 3. It is 4. And what's going on here, oh, it's just complaining because we accidentally disconnected the power. Okay, so maybe building that bridge was just a little bit premature. That's okay. We now come back over here. And in this case, honestly, I think it would be a good idea to just handle this as is. Now, I'm not gonna be too fussy about this right now, mainly because there's no reason to be. But we will at least fully upgrade these bridges. And finally, yeah, you know what? We'll do that. Okay. So that, in a nutshell, is our network here. Because we got that Parklife here, whenever there is demand, they will come down through it. Now we go back to our tram network because we do have a little bit more money available to us. We got that guy built over that. We could actually stand to upgrade this. That was one thing I forgot to do. However, we want to do some traffic management here because, well, there's a number of issues. So first of all, if we go on this intersection, these guys are waiting through the light. It's important that they are able to do the light, but so we're going to let them, or bypass the lights. We're going to let them turn right on red, which you can see they're doing. And really, with that sort of being a dedicated right-hand turning lane, what that's going to mean is maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to make this, let's see, where are the, oh, come on, go away. It wouldn't be such a bad idea to, come on, are we going to show the little thingies here? What's going on? Okay, yeah. Make it so that this guy can only turn left. This guy will be able to turn in like that. And I guess maybe, you know, maybe we can go forward to, yeah, that would actually not be a bad idea. So these guys are going to be sitting here queuing. we could get rid of some of this traffic. Although there's not much of it, but we might want to turn that into a 3-lane road eventually. Well, now that we've come back and we've made a ton of money, let's come back. Let's see, what are we missing? So we got our elementary school there. Why don't we put healthcare down. Put down child care. And we can't afford elder care. We can, however, afford that. So that's going to be important. And that'll give us coverage for most of our services. And we should crank up the power again. Eventually, what's going to need to happen is we're going to need to do some upgrades here. Honestly, I think it's a good idea though for us to get these, because they do actually do quite a good job, these little turbines. They're not the best, and these give you slightly more bang for buck, but we want to eventually do oil. And how are we on this? We have increased level, maybe? Maybe not. We are definitely at the point though to where we need to expand this a little bit. And maybe begin thinking about this as well. Because I do incidentally want to get our tram network going. Why don't we begin getting that? We have 2-lane road with tram tracks. What I want to do is find a way to get this sort of circulating throughout the neighborhood. Oops, wrong one. We want to get it circulating through the neighborhood so that... Oh, wow, I just cannot see what I'm doing today. We want to get it circulating through the neighborhood so that what we're able to do with it is basically have these little points of interest. And so we'll have to figure out how we want it to circulate. It will cost money, but it will let us, you know, have some traffic throughout the neighborhood to let people get to where they need to go. Okay. So, tram's done. Well, it's not done, but it's ready to be hooked in. And actually, I want to add in connections over here as well. This is for the future. But for now, we have this little region built. And one of the things I'm going to need to do, because we are definitely going to need stuff here. is I want to get this hooked in, and then we're going to want to get a tram depot going so that eventually we can then utilize the tram to get over to the other end of the network. We still have plenty of demand here. Garbage may be something we might have to take care of pretty soon. So yeah, I'm gonna just real quickly develop this area, build up my cache, and then I will be right back. And our park leveled up. We need to build up cash anyway, so I'm going to spend this time sort of thinking about. Now, our entertainment goal has gotten much bigger, where we got really only one piece that we can take advantage of here, which is this weird chess piece. So that adds, I think, 2100. And we've reached our entertainment goal. About 40 grand until the next thing anyway. And we do, our garbage will probably begin filling up pretty soon. I think one thing we could potentially do that might help with the garbage, I mean, eventually it's going to get to the point we've got this waste transfer facility. We can't really unlock that right now. We could put in some recycling centers, however, to increase our capacity. They're not nearly as good as, for instance, the incinerators that we'll be unlocking that will also produce power. But they will help just a little bit. We are also losing population, no doubt due to the fact that they're dying. And then as far as this is concerned, it is slowly building up. We just gotta wait for the appropriate number of visitors. The thing we unlock after that level is the gazebos, and then it becomes very easy to, I guess, fix the rest of it. So, what else are we looking at here? Well, we've got we got the landfill up here. Okay. That'll do. I will honestly, I kinda want to have this going up here. We have water line. We do. What I'm saving up for is the terminus for this thing, for this tram line, so we can begin getting the trams going. We may also put in a bus depot as well. And honestly, what we might do is we might even end up bridging the two here. We still want the elder care, which I keep on saying I'm going to put down. I just keep on getting distracted. We can put down a biofuel depot. And then we go to our tram here. So this is a thing. It's actually kind of annoying it's that way. We're just gonna have to do like that, I suppose. It's gonna complain about lack of water. So we'll handle that. But we can now set up tram lines. And I guess what we'll do, we'll just start up here. Come to the edge. Maybe come down here. Make a stop at the park, because I imagine people will probably want to go down there. Come up here. Make another stop at the park. And now we should begin seeing trams come out. Now we need something in particular. I mean, aside from bridging this, of course, to sort of help. And one of the things is, if we go take a look at these, this thing, I mean, 5 is probably okay. We can reduce that to, I think, 4. Eventually we're going to want to do something about that. We will create traffic issues this way, and we do need to solve this. So what I'm going to say is that these guys need to yield. Same for up here. In fact, honestly, stop signs would probably be better. But the tram can yield if there is no traffic. Just because it's sort of a high priority thing. We want to do the same thing up here. And this is largely just to reduce traffic lights. We'll still have this one here. Okay. So far, so good. We will probably want some other services here. And by the way, you can see the trams doing their thing now. But as far as services are concerned, a library is actually, you know, it's something that might not look very important. Libraries educate adults. And so it actually can be relatively important to have. Now let's see, the other thing is, again, we want elder care. And likewise, what we can do, if we want to keep traffic off the main line here, and we want to do the same thing up here, which we probably will, then one thing we can do to help with this is we can just set it up so that the tram line comes over here, and these people will probably want to go over here. You can see that this has had a positive effect, and if we go take a look at the one tram line here, we've got 23 passengers, not nearly as much capacity. So I'm even going to suggest we bring this down to 2. It'll reduce traffic. And so far, everything's turning out pretty well. So we're probably going to want to have garbage over here too. And for that matter, we want a bus service as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably need to save up for that. But not before we get the elder care in, because the elder care, if I'm being completely honest, is kind of important. And again, basically the idea is that we're trying to increase land value. So if we go take a look up here, you can see land value is actually pretty high around this area. And that's because people have access to services that they need, or rather desire. I'm going to put in a classical park as well. Nothing too terribly big, but something that'll just push up the land value a great deal. And how are we doing on our resources? Still good on power. Still very good, in fact. Yeah, I think we could actually get away with, at least for right now, extending that tram line. That if we go over here, we can do that whilst we are waiting. So, where is that? Tram was over here. We'll just build a little bit of a bridge down. Probably do the same over here. Looks like we are just a little bit off. That's okay. Where are now my tram lines? That's a 4 road. Those are integrated. Okay, let's get this going. Because one thing we can use this for is actually getting people over from point A to point B. Probably best, to be honest, if we do a completely separate line here. And so I guess what I'm going to do, I'm going to start all the way up here. I'm going to come down. And coming through there. I can transfer over here. And come up over here and then do like that. And where are our trams? We're going to slightly change the color here. And really, it would be good for us now to consider putting this into a district. So I'm going to do that. We will eventually want to set the policies on this so it's not a bad little thing to do. And we can just come and, because if we do restrictions on the district, we don't want it to apply to that highway. We'll come through here. That's Rosewood Park. Okay, we're going to call this Rosewood Park South. This is Rosewood Park North. We got way too many vehicles on here. It's being underutilized. And this was Rosewood Park South. So that will increase people visiting. You can see it's already gone up quite a good deal. We have enough to get our bus line in, so I'm going to consider doing that. And we actually want the biofuel buses. Additionally, I'm just going to run a cheap little road back here. It'll create a cul-de-sac, but really not much that could be done about that. We're going to just sort of leave that. We can likewise be running, let's run from, I don't know, from here to here to maybe over here. And then maybe back down to here. This will allow people to more easily work or get to work. And what was it that we were working on? This here. So yeah, it'll work quite well. So I think we're going to name the town Rosewood. Maybe Rosewood Drifts. And we'll leave it there. I think we've done quite a number of things. We have just a little bit of stuff we can do. We got policies coming up and industries as well, which we might have actually been able to do earlier. But yeah, we'll just leave it there for now. Until then, this has been Thy Lord Root, and I shall see you next time.